If you want to become a master content creator and finally get the attention and views you deserve, then you have to understand how hooks and storytelling actually work. Now, I'm not going to suggest for you to spend hours researching this stuff or hours of your time trying to craft the perfect script, because that's just not sustainable. It should flow naturally. You should be able to speak in front of the camera and be able to deliver your information, deliver your idea in a fun and viral way. So I'm going to show you exactly that. I'm going to show you a framework that I've been using to generate hundreds of millions of views over the past 3 to 4 years of posting my own personal content. It will allow you to create engaging content with powerful hooks and then have people stay and watch the whole video through authentic storytelling. And you'll be able to do this naturally within minutes. After you finish this video, you'll have the exact setup and process that I use to make all of my videos. And you can use this across different niches, different styles, different platforms, because at the end of the day, this is rooted in human psychology and not just some algorithm hack. And this video is set up and organized in a convenient 3-part setup. So before we get into that, if you don't know who I am yet, my name is Ethan Shaw. I've been creating content for the past 6-7 years now. I was a commercial fashion photographer back in the day, working with major brands like Arc'teryx, Audi, and the top modeling agencies in North America. But then I realized something, that the brands that were paying me thousands of dollars for deliverables weren't getting the results that they wanted. And instead they were paying tens of thousands of dollars, 5 figures, to people that knew how to create social media content, to influencers with an audience who shoot videos with their iPhones. Brands didn't want fancy deliverables anymore that didn't get them the results or build the brand that they wanted to build. Times are changing, and now all of our interest is on social media. So as content creators, as creatives, we need to match our vibe, our career, our industry with the medium that people are consuming. And the people that were getting paid 5 figures to take videos with their iPhones were my best friends at the time. So then that's when I decided to make the pivot myself and go all in on social media and build my own brand. Because now I focus on my own creativity to build my own brand. And when I do work with brands, if I choose to, because I don't need to do that anymore, but if I choose to, then I would also have the strategy and execution to back that up, because now I can give a brand or a person an actual content strategy that grows their brand and grows their audience and gets recognized online, which is the end goal. You see, when I started content creation, I had no idea how to talk to the camera. I was very awkward. I was a photographer at the end of the day. I preferred to be behind the camera. It was quite an identity shift to now be in front of the camera. But after enough trial and error, I got in front of the camera a little bit more. And I learned a few things to make it a lot easier, because when you're speaking in front of the camera, it is a new thing. If you've never done it before, it's going to feel a little awkward. And then you also have to deliver all of this information in a concise, engaging, and fun way. So I had no idea how to write scripts or hook people or how to tell stories. But nowadays, everyone thinks I'm a natural. They think I've just always been in front of the camera. But even just last year, I had no idea how to really deliver a message in front of a camera. I was just too awkward. It wasn't my thing. But once you understand how to hack human psychology, how to deliver stories in a way that makes sense for people, that is engaging for people, then everything changes, because now you can have this skill across your whole life. It'll help you talk to your friends. It'll help you tell a story. It'll help you connect with more people. It'll help you go viral on social media, because people just are addicted to the story. They're addicted to the message that you're trying to say, because it's delivered in a way that our brains actually can enjoy and sink in. It all makes sense. Whereas if your information doesn't make sense, or it's stressful to think about, or it's too complicated, or it's just a little confusing, then people aren't going to be able to really enjoy the message you have to share. Because at the end of the day, all we're trying to do is make people feel something. They're more likely to share, they're more likely to comment, they're more likely to like, to save it for later, and then come back to it. And you can see this in all different types of viral content. They all spark emotion. You can have a really calm ASMR type of video. You can have a really energetic, cracked out type of video. You can have some beautiful landscape with a train going by with some peaceful jazz music, and that's going to provoke emotion. You can have some fun, motivating video with an epic soundtrack in the back, and that's going to spark emotion. You can have those sad quote type videos, and that's also going to spark emotion. Whatever it is, our viewer needs to feel connected connected to that piece of content that they're watching. And nowadays, when we're competing against AI content and all this brain rot, we really have to dial in the emotion that we're conveying, especially on short form content, because everyone's scrolling and kind of in this dopamine hamster wheel. So the only way you can capture their attention to then share your own message that's hopefully a little bit more meaningful or a little bit deeper than just random brain rot is by packaging this information that you have in a way that provokes that emotion. So then when someone's scrolling, they can really feel something, which is a pretty intense feeling, and then they'll stop and watch your video and then actually consume a more positive message rather than just brainlessly scrolling. Another way you see this emotion provoking idea or concept is in political videos, controversial videos. Everyone has strong emotions and feelings on their political stances or what they believe in. So then they watch the videos. And that's unfortunately why there's so much politics and, echo chambers on social media right now, because it's tuning into this core human psychology where people feel very strongly about their side, their viewpoint, and they feel very strongly against the other viewpoint. And then people make content about that and exploit that. And then that triggers emotion. And then that keeps you engaged in the content. As you can see, some of these things that we're going to have to start implementing in our content work on every platform, every niche, every style. It's just how it shows up is differently across your different niches. And I'm going to show you exactly how to apply it for your own brand. But real quick, before we get into all the details, there's a tool that will actually help you spark all of this emotion that you would want in your content. And that is Artlist. You're getting all the leading AI models in one place. And this is the software that I use to play around and keep experimenting with all of these new AI models because they add them in right away. And it is such a clean and easy software to use because they really are a creative platform first, and they're meant for creating content. They're meant for creators, which is really cool. We have VO3, the AI video generation with camera controls. We have realistic AI voiceovers, voice to text, voice to voice. I could even
transform my voice and make my voice sound like someone else.
You have Nano Banana, which is one of the most advanced image generators. And this is all in one place, so it's super easy. There's no need to pay for all of these different subscriptions and bounce around to different websites. Everything's just in one convenient place. The AI Max plan includes all of those AI tools, plus the entire royalty-free music library, so you can have different music in your background, in your Instagram videos, whatever it is. You can monetize on YouTube with Artlist. You can have all the different sound effects, all the different real and high-quality stock footage libraries included, and then you have all the video templates, graphics, and anything else you can really think of that you might need to make a beautiful video. So if you're starting to post content, if you have an editor that posts content, you would really appreciate this. If you need professional assets or want a brand to stand out online, or you want to play and create with the newest AI features all in one place, Artlist is your go-to. They actually just dropped their biggest sale of the year, and it's only for a limited time, just the next few weeks in November here. We have 40% off all annual AI plans, plus 2 extra months free when you sign up for the annual subscription, which is 14 months for the price of 7. Or you can get 20% off the Artlist Max Pro plan, plus the extra 2 months on the annual plan. And this is literally the only sale they do all year. Even if you're posting once a month as a hobby and want to just dabble and try this out, Artlist is still super important, so you don't have to feel limited in the content you're making. But the sale ends soon. This is the best time to pick up a yearly subscription and get into it, because then all of your content creation needs are covered for 2026. The link is in the description, probably the top one, and you can check it out. You're going to want to use that link to make sure you get the best deal. And back to the video. So now that you have all the sound effects, the music, the B-roll, and everything else you need to spark this emotion in your content to then generate more views, to then intrigue people a little bit more, let's get into how to write a hook. The hook is obviously, probably what you've heard, the most important part of your video. It's what actually hooks people in and allows them to watch the rest of the video. Because if you lose people the first 2 to 3 seconds of your video, then no one's going to be able to watch your video. So in the hook, I use a 3-step sequence, and this goes for YouTube and on short form content like Instagram, and even for writing content like LinkedIn or X or whatever else. The first step, the first sentence, is a polarizing statement. We want a polarizing question, statement, idea, and concept of the video that makes the viewers wonder if this is real, if this is possible. We're going to spark that emotion that we were talking about. We're going to make the viewers invested into getting to the next sentence. If you want to check out my viral hooks template, there's going to be a 6-day email course that's linked in the description. That'll sign you up for my newsletter, plus give you a full 6-day creator brand launch guide. Plus on the 3rd or 4th day of that email sequence is the viral hooks templates. So you can see a Notion guide of exactly what kind of hooks I use. And this is the same template that I use actually every day because I just switch these hooks into my own words and they're all proven from other viral videos. So it's an amazing asset. Check it out. It's the 6-day personal brand launch, and that's everything you need to know to start building your own creator business, plus some other fun extras in there. And that's all for free. I didn't want to make it paid or anything. I want it super easy for you to start posting content and launch your own creator business or launch your own personal brand, whatever you'd like to call it. Another idea to think about in your polarizing statement is using very strong words and sometimes negative words as well. I've never done this before. Never do this. All I think about is. Always do this. The biggest mistake. Polarizing statements like these are very intense, and that's kind of the point, right? Now, the next sentence in your hook structure is going to be your importance and credibility statement. And this is the exact very specific structure that I use. It's step 1, sentence 1 is the polarizing statement. Sentence 2 is the importance and credibility statement. This sentence really shows why the viewer should listen to the rest of the video. Why are you credible to be telling them about what you're about to tell them, what the video is about? This can look like your own expertise in the past. This could even look like where you got this information from. So a recent Harvard study said 92% of blah, blah, blah is blank. Or for the past 7 years as a professional accountant, I've seen this thing before. So that is your credibility statement. And subconsciously, that's going to trigger people to realize that the information that you're about to tell them is correct and that you know your stuff and you're not some random guy on the internet. I used it in this video with my introductory line. You can scroll back and look at that. I use it in all my Instagram videos. Sometimes you can get away with visual B-roll. So if you show the audience, so it's like how to take beautiful photos and then you show your audience beautiful photos, that can also kind of work. But a nice verbal credibility or importance statement is going to be super important to keep viewers engaged in the hook. And it sets them up for the rest of the video. And then sentence number 3 is the payoff or the transitional sentence. You just want to give people the value. Don't buzz around too much. You want to really give people value in the first couple seconds, couple minutes of the video, so they know they're not wasting their time. You can think about it like value per second. And I like to make it super obvious that they are getting value when they watch my videos. So I use words and sentences like, here's exactly the next step. The first thing you're going to want to do is, and this is exactly how to. And it all starts with, that would be more of a storytelling hook. And you can mix these concepts up between educational content and entertainment style content. They both work. It's both kind of similar. You would just apply it slightly differently. Now that we've hooked the viewer in with our amazing 3-sentence hook, we can now get into the core elements of a story. So then the viewer will watch the rest of the video and be entertained by everything. So there are a few core elements to what make a great story. We need some conflict, which creates tension in the video. We want to run this tension throughout the majority of the video. We want to make sure that the viewer understands that there's a high stakes moment in the video. It keeps the viewer curious and makes it so they don't wander off. Then as you build up this conflict and keep the tension, you're going to want to continue to create context throughout the video. You're going to want to really lay out all of the different details of what's at stake here. So in this video, I talked a lot about the problem and the anatomy of storytelling and why it's important to trigger like psychological frameworks within viewers. And that kind of elevates this problem and really lays up the importance of storytelling and hook writing, which then creates tension in the video while still introducing more context, while still giving you guys more value. And speaking of that, the last point of this video is going to be the most important part, which is the delivery and pacing of your story. So stick around to that to the end. And what I just did there, which is true, you need to have good delivery and pacing in the video, also creates tension because now you guys are anticipating the last point of this video. So any highlights in the video, any foreshadowing you can add into your video is also going to help your viewer be more engaged throughout. Another great method to use when telling your stories is using the and, but, therefore method. This is what the creators of South Park use a lot, and that's where I picked this up from. So when you're telling a story, you don't want to continuously use the word and. and then I went to the store, and then I went to get milk, and then I came home, and then I got cereal. You can use an and, but, therefore method, which is way better. I realized I didn't have any milk in the house. So then I went to the store, but then the store didn't have the milk I wanted. Therefore, I went to the other store down the street. Then I went home, but I realized I was running late for work. Therefore, I had to eat my cereal super quickly. That second part, when I'm using but and therefore, really adds this anticipation, some tension in the story, which then creates that emotion and continues that conflict of the story. Then once we reach the peak of the story, we want to be ending our video pretty quickly. Once the viewer is satisfied, we want to have a pretty quick conclusion, pretty quick outro. In short form content, I don't do any outro. I try to end the video as suddenly as possible because every second really counts on short form. Whereas on YouTube, longer form content, we can kind of take 30 seconds to wrap up and slowly close off the video because typically viewers are in a bit more of a lo-fi calmer state. So you have the luxury of taking, 10, 30 seconds, 1 minute to wrap up your video and finalize your thoughts. But on short form content, I wouldn't almost give any conclusion at all. It would be like a short call to action, CTA, and then you would leave. Or you could just even infinity loop the video and then have the viewer watch the video from the start again. Which brings me to my last main topic of this video. The third point is the delivery and pacing of the video. You want to keep your delivery and pacing fun. You can vary your tone, vary your expression, and vary your sentence length in these videos. You can use staccato pacing, which basically means you have a longer sentence and then a short sentence, followed by maybe a medium sentence. And then you can go back into a longer sentence with these dynamic pauses, with these different emotions, and kind of making your speech sound a little bit more entertaining, kind of like a roller coaster when you're speaking. And you can do this through your own authentic emotion. If you're a very fun and high energy person, then you can speak really quickly and continue to talk with excitement and conviction and really make it exciting for the viewer. And that typically actually does really well on the algorithms. This is how I talk to my friends when I'm calm in real life. So this is the more authentic cadence that I want to be speaking in. But if you look at my previous videos, I was a lot more performative and I would speak at a higher, more fun pace. That is great for the algorithm, but that just isn't where I wanted to take my brand. So now I'm slowing down a little bit more and I'm really just optimizing for my own personality. When you speak, you want to make sure you're not using any filler words. It's really public speaking is what we're doing. We're speaking to a camera and uploading it to hundreds or thousands of people. So learning how to not use filler words, learning how to speak with a thickness in your voice, learning to not use upward inflections at the end of your sentences. These are all going to help you sound more confident, sound more cool on camera. It's going to make you sound a lot more like an authority, a lot more calm. It's not going to stress people out because you're creating a safe space for them to enjoy your content. And I would match your delivery and pacing to that emotion that you want to be conveying in the entirety of the video. If you're trying to create this cool, calm vibe, then tune into that. You can really lower your tone and really make it sound a little bit more, calm. If you want to be funny, then really tune into the funny aspect. Make fun of yourself. Have the tonality to make people laugh. If you're trying to be very serious and very factual and very like end of the world doomsday vibes, then use that tone of voice. That's all going to match in and really help convey your message. And when you are picking the emotion that you want to have on the internet, I would suggest for you, and this is what I tell my clients, I would suggest for you to tune it to your own personality, because then in the long run, that's just going to feel the most authentic and real for you. I wouldn't put on too much of an act. I would just tune into your own personality and then amplify it as much as you can. And that is the 3 parts of how to hook your viewers in and tell them and take them along an amazing storytelling journey. If you're interested in working with me one-on-one and join our inner community called Catalyst, you can DM me 56 on Instagram. All the information is there. We have a community, courses, one-on-one implementation, so you can launch your own creator business and start earning your first couple $1,000s online through your own content. I have a specific way of doing things. I think it's pretty cool. You can DM me 56 and you can take a look at the details there. If you found this video helpful and you're ready to start posting content, make sure you're in the right niche. Make sure you're posting content about the right topics. You're going to want to make sure you're spending your time creating videos that people actually want to watch. And that's exactly what this video is about here, how to rebrand yourself and launch your creator business in 30 days. So then you know exactly what kind of content you should be posting. So if you liked this video, I'm sure you're going to love that one. Link is going to be right there for you to check it out. And that's all for today. Peace.